Yes, lovely people. Welcome back to the Sanderson Show. This is the UFC 312 recap. Duplessis smashes Strickland's nose. Whaley, too good for Tatiana Suarez. And is there a new heavyweight contender on the horizon as Tallison Teixeira destroys Justin Tafa? Sit back, relax. This is the Sanderson Show. Let's get into it, people. Yes, beautiful people. Hope you're well. Please do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. On the road to 5,000 subs, not too far away as well. Obviously, if you follow me on my other channel, Coppish, alongside Matt and Drifty, we've just hit 35 subs on YouTube for Team Coppish as well. So it'd be a nice little landmark if I was able to cross off 2 landmarks in 1 month. That would be beautiful. So, people, UFC 312 is in the books. How would I rank the event out of 10? I'd probably give it out of 10. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. I thought the co-main event was a bit of a letdown, not to do with the champion. I'll speak about that in more detail. I thought the co-main event was very interesting. However, again, I don't think it was a massively exciting fight, even though one-sided. The heavyweight fight didn't last very long, but that was very exciting and very intriguing as to what happens next for the victor there, and also the 2 opening bouts as well. I thought they were quite good fights, to be honest. They were both throwing down. So out of 10, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. So I'll start with the main event and then work my way backwards. Duplessis beat Sean Strickland, a one-sided affair. Now, going into the fight, everyone thought it'd be a barn burner. The first fight was a war, back and forth. Duplessis won that fight by a split decision. 2 of the scorecards had it 3-2 to him. The other had it 3-2 to Sean. I personally believe Sean won the fight 3-2. I'm not with this whole it was a robbery or Sean was robbed. I think it was a close fight that could have gone either way. I wasn't mad that Duplessis got the decision, but I thought personally Sean won it. This time Duplessis left no stone unturned and left no doubt in anyone's mind. That for me was easily a 4-1 fight or 5-0 at worst for Sean Strickland. We say this all the time. Sean's style is very predictable. And look, some of the best styles and best fighters have predictable styles, but still beating them is another thing. Khabib, we all knew who was going to wrestle. No one could stop it, though. The difference with this is Strickland doesn't mix up anything at all. There's no threat of a takedown. There's no threat of a different type of strike. In fact, I'd only say he became more adventurous with his striking once his nose got broken and he started just biting down on the mouth guard and swinging Hail Marys because he knew he was in trouble. The Philly shell works really well in the sense that he doesn't get hit very hard very often. Obviously, he did from Dracus in this fight, but he's not evolved from the first fight, whereas Duplessis did. And I think you could see that Duplessis was varying his attacks, keeping Sean guessing, and just overall just made it look like a pretty easy standard victory. I don't think Duplessis will have an easier victory than that. And I know people say, well, he didn't stop Sean, he stopped Izzy. Go back and watch that Izzy fight. Izzy, in my opinion, was starting to take the lead in that fight and started to pull away a little bit from Dracus until Dracus again showed the heart and will of a champion, took him down and choked him out. Strickland, for me, though, I know what I would do personally. I'd match him up with Rod Whittaker next. Both coming off losses, both still top 5 fighters, both still pay-per-view stars as well. I'd match up Strickland, and I think Strickland's a fighter who's in danger of just becoming a mouthpiece now. Shout out to Dom Dewsbury, shout out to Andre, shout out to Chris Brack in the building. Chris says Strickland is just a hype machine, promises wars and fights his death, but fights are dull. I hear it. Here's the thing. I don't mind fighters hyping a fight and then not delivering on what they say. I just prefer you to vary your game plan. It's almost like there's no point doing a training camp if that's all you're going to do. Because what's the point? It just feels pointless doing a training camp if all you're going to do is what you do in every single fight. So I'd match up Whitaker with Strickland next. For the champion, again, just goes from strength to strength. Anyone who still doubts du Plessis, I don't know, man. I wasn't Dracus' biggest fan. He's winning me over. He really is winning me over. The guy will fight anyone at any time. He'll throw down with anyone. He fears no one, and he's a hell of a fighter. Unorthodox as hell, awkward as hell, but a hell of a fighter. We all know what's next for him, though. Khamzat. And I know he did call out Pereira after the fight, but he did clarify his comments and said, look, Khamzat's next. He wants to get that victory, and then I think he'll move up to 205 after that. Shout out to Zakir. Appreciate it, man. Just a like. That's all I ask, man. The co-main event, Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. Look, I've been calling Tatiana Suarez the Khabib of the strawweight division. I even thought she could maybe go up to flyweight and win a belt there as well. I had her win this fight, not because I don't rate Weili. I just remember Weili when she fought Rose Namajunas in the second fight. And even though she was winning the fight, Namajunas was able to win the fight and take the fight back from her with her wrestling. And Tatiana's a better wrestler than Rose Namajunas. And in the first round, it looked as though it was going down that path. Tatiana got top position, didn't cause much damage, but she was easily able to control Weili. From the second round to the end of the fifth round or the end of the fight, Weili dominated in every aspect of mixed martial arts. She is truly a special fighter. And she's even speaking English now. Is there anything this woman can't do? A truly special fighter. She's a star in China, rightly so. She's a star in the USA, I'd say as well. She's a UFC star. She's a fighting star. She's an MMA star. She was absolutely brilliant. And I'll be real with you guys. There's only one fight I want to see. I want to see her go up and challenge Valentina Shevchenko. That is the only fight I want to see those two women in. No disrespect to Maino Fiorot. No disrespect to Vera Jandiroba. But it's got to be those two now. It's got to be Valentina versus Weili. If not, I don't understand what we're doing here. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Dana's hinted to it. Both women apparently want the fight. International Fight Week lines up nicely with their timescales and timelines, in my opinion. As the third fight on the main card, yeah, let's make it happen, man. International Fight Week. Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili for the flyweight championship. Double belt status potentially for Weili. And who will be the outright pound for pound number one women's fighter in the world? Let's make that happen. For Tatiana Suarez, I'd probably match her up with someone like Mackenzie Dern, who's not crazy in terms of striking ability, but she's got good jiu-jitsu, which is often a good counter to wrestling, but often wrestling is a good counter to jiu-jitsu as well. Plus, if you're trying to make Mackenzie a star and trying to get her a title shot, the best person for her to try and beat, for me, is a Tatiana Suarez, because it puts it beyond the realms of doubt as to who should get the next title shot, whoever beats Tatiana. Remember, that is Tatiana's first loss. People saying Tatiana's been fraud checked. You cannot be fraud checked when you lose to the champion. I repeat, you cannot be fraud checked when you lose to the champion. You are literally losing to the best person in the world at what they do. That is not a fraud check. So I know people like to throw out these like buzzwords and try and get people to like tweets and stuff. But let's move beyond that, man. You are not fraud checked if you lose to the world champion. And yeah, best of luck, Tatiana Suarez. An amazing backstory for Tatiana Suarez. The amount of injuries she's gone through, and then obviously beating cancer as well. She is truly a miracle. And I do hope she gets that belt one day. It'd be a lovely story. But just this time, it wasn't meant to be. Weili just too good, too strong, too quick, and too intelligent for her. So yeah, look forward to seeing what they both do next. In the heavyweight division, Justin Tafa went up against Tallison Teixeira, and it didn't last long. None of us expected it to last long. Didn't know if it would be that brutal though. An elbow to the bridge of the nose, which looked like it shattered Justin Tafa's nose, and then raining down punches. The fight is over in around 34 seconds. Tallison Teixeira, 6'7", natural heavyweight, reach of 83 inches. He could be a player in this division. The only person in UFC, if I'm not mistaken, with a longer reach than him is John Bones Jones, who's just got freakishly long limbs. I'll be honest with you. I'd like to see who they match up with Teixeira next, because, you know, this heavyweight division in the UFC isn't the deepest of divisions. 1 or 2 fights, you could be knocking on the door of a top 5 fighter. I'd love to see that. Imagine someone like Tallison Teixeira versus Volkov. That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, Chris, bro, imagine doing a 10-week fight camp to lose in 40 seconds. Imagine doing a 10-week fight camp and winning in 40 seconds as well, bro. It's just crazy. And look, obviously you want to be on the side of winning in 40 seconds, but even still, you're kind of hoping to showcase your skills a bit more so that it doesn't feel as much of a strain when you're doing that 10 weeks. But hey ho, you don't get paid for overtime in this sport. You get paid for putting people to sleep or stopping people, and that's what Tallison Teixeira did. On to fight number 2 on the night, which was Jimmy Crute versus Bellato. A very good back and forth fight. Ended as a majority draw. I think is the perfect result, fair result. Jimmy Crute looked like he was going to stop Bellato in the first round, raining down ground and pound. It was given a 10-8 in that round 1 as well, and he looked like he was going to be over in the second round. Bellato got a second wing. It looked like Jimmy Crute burnt himself out, and Bellato won the last 2 rounds. If Jimmy Crute didn't get a 10-8 in the first round, he would have lost that fight, and I think it would have been a fair decision. But I'd like them to rerun that match. I don't see the point of them going their separate directions. That was a hell of a good fight, and there was no definitive winner. Let's run that back. I'd like to see that run back. And then the fight that opened up the card was Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Again, very good fight between the two. I do think Prado was overmatched here. He was a smaller man coming up from lightweight. He's only 22 years old, which is really young in the sport. And Jake Matthews is very experienced fighting on home soil. I think Prado did really well in the first round. However, the weight, the experience, the fight IQ of Jake just took over in the last 2 rounds, and he got the majority decision. Unanimous decision, and rightly so. No questions there. I'd like to see Jake Matthews matched up next with Ponzinibbio. I think that would be a nice, fun fight. Jake Matthews, according to Tapology, is ranked number 25 in the world. I think Ponzinibbio is ranked number 22. Ponzinibbio's got a big name. Jake Matthews' name's grown, especially in Australia. I'd really like to see that fight. I think that'd be a really, really fun fight. Elsewhere on the card on the prelims, obviously Ilia Toporia's brother, Alexandra Topuria, not Pantoja. Alexandra Topuria beat Volkanovski's training partner to record his first win in the UFC. Didn't do anything crazy, but again, easy points decision victory. Be interesting to see how they both navigate up the divisions as well going forward. But people, I'm going to round up there. Just a quick recap for UFC 312. If you haven't already, do smash the like button. As I said, I'm on the road to 5,000 subs, and also want to big up to Jamie Phillips and Luke Tanner, who always join me on watch-alongs. Also want to shout out to Chris Brack as well. Even though he's not on the watch-alongs, he's very supportive behind the scenes and also on stream as well. So big up yourself, Chris. Always a pleasure speaking to you guys. Please do smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Till I see you again, people. Thanks for watching and listening to the Sanderson Show. Take care, everyone.